healthcare system. I feel that is the best way to address the skyrocketing cost of healthcare here. It's just not sustainable the way it's set up right now in the US or in Hawaii. There needs to be caps put on what insurance companies and healthcare providers and pharmaceutical companies can provide for their goods and services, because they are charging exponentially more for those same services here that they charge in other parts of the world. And they will still be profitable if they're limited with what they can charge, but people should not be going bankrupt because of their medical bills here. I mean, it's just not moral to charge people exorbitant rates for medical insurance and medical services. These are, they depend on them to live. So.
Thank you. Reina.
I would say the biggest thing is we need to move towards a single payer healthcare system. Having again lived in Europe, I see that healthcare is a human right. I really believe that, and we have to make it accessible to every family in the state of Hawaii. And I know so many families and so many of my students, their families do not have access or equitable access to healthcare. So we have to move towards a system in which all families and all people and all children would be covered, and that it would cause, if there was a large accident or some kind of catastrophic event that there was a healthcare related issue, that it would put their family in a large hole. That shouldn't happen to anyone.
Thank you. Amy?
I support single payer or Medicare for all would also work. I think that and it's the same kind of thinking, but I think more fundamentally moving to what Micah was talking about in terms of capping and capping the prices that drug companies can charge, regulating drug companies and their practices, but really fundamentally getting corporate money, especially the money from drug companies and people involved in the medical industry, out of politics. And I think that once they have less impact and less influence in shaping our policies, then we can really get to some common sense reform.
Thank you. Justin?
Yes, I agree with everything that's been said. Single payer healthcare system, Medicare for all. Basically, taking the profit out of the system so that we can have truly affordable healthcare. Ridiculous to see that this hasn't happened yet, and how excellent healthcare systems like Canada are demonized just because it's not a profit motive. You shouldn't have the best healthcare money to buy. Healthcare is a right, it's not a privilege, and we need to do a much better job at providing truly affordable healthcare.
Thank you, Justin. Lay?
I want to take a different tack. I think part of the problem is Congress. That's out of our kind of realm. We need to vote good people into Congress and have a White House that is compassionate about health care, because what we're doing is we're following what they're negotiating and doing. And I understand that the pharmaceutical, they had some kind of deal when Bush was president, where we can't go negotiating the prices of pills. So I don't know what a local legislature could do about that. Another thing is the Obamacare. There's certain aspects of it that some of my specialist doctors complain about, in terms of it being so highly regulated that if you do one single error, they get penalized and make it difficult for them to operate within the scope of that insurance plan. Of course, things are changing right now with our White House, but that increases because they have to hire extra people just to do the database. Also, too, it's kind of easing out a lot of specialists and wanting primary care people only.